Okay, here's a blast from the past. The old coot here, come back at you with another exciting video. What to do with leftovers, right? I've got some hard-boiled eggs. I've got some leftover sprouted lentils. I've got some leftover rice, right? Some basmati rice. So what I did was I just made a quick salad, right? That I'm going to mix together. It's like a rice. It's kind of best cold or warm. It doesn't have to be hot or anything. But what I've got in there is I've got the sprouted lentils. I would say there's maybe like half a cup, maybe quarter cup, something like that. Then I've got a tablespoon of mustard, about two really huge heaping tablespoons of mayonnaise. Try to use the good mayonnaise if you can, like avocado mayonnaise, avocado oil mayonnaise. Try to use the good stuff. Then I've got, I would say, about a cup of basmati rice that's kind of in there. Then what I've got is some pickles, right? Some nice sour bits and, sweet and sour thing going on. Then what I've got is some parsley, right? Flat leaf parsley. Then I've got 4 hard-boiled eggs that I just kind of rough sliced, like if that. And then this is capers. There's about a heaping tablespoon of capers in there. So what I'm going to do is just hit it with some salt and pepper, and then basically just give it a little mix. So this is something that's like quick and easy to fix and mix up. And it's like a cold rice and egg salad, if that's what you want to call it. You've got a little bit of protein in there from the hard-boiled eggs, also from the sprouted lentils. Then you've got some carbs in there, obviously from the rice. And it's just something, like, look at it, how easy this came together. And obviously if I was doing this with 2 hands, it'd be a lot smoother. But you could also put carrot in here, like maybe shred up some carrots. You could put celery in here. It's kind of like making a tuna salad, but with eggs and rice. And actually, if you really wanted to go nuts and just mix it all up entirely, you could even throw like a can of tuna in there if you wanted to. Like, obviously drain off the juice or whatever. But if you really wanted to get like a nice little, extra protein kick, you could do like a can of tuna in there as well. But anyways, look at how quick and easy this comes together. So just showing everybody, absolutely delicious. This is just something that reminds me of my poor days, which I still am, right? Definitely scrounging around for money and stuff. And, just something that's quick and easy to do at home. This in a deli would probably be like a $35 sandwich. You get some sourdough toast up some sourdough, stick it between the sourdough. I just like to use crackers. Try to find some good crackers if you can, whatever the case may be. But I just like to use crackers. And the beauty of this is if you let it sit in the fridge a little bit, it actually gets a chance to mingle all those flavors, kind of commingled together. You could also hit this with a little bit of like red wine vinegar, which I think I'm going to do now. So red wine vinegar, right? I'm just gonna give it like maybe teaspoon, less than a teaspoon, and just for that little extra sour littleness in there. But anyways, like I said, just something quick and easy that you can fix up. Something that has, some rice in it for the carbs. It's got the egg in it for the protein, right? And then you've got the capers in there for those little salty pops every once in a while when they burst in your mouth. And then you've got the pickles in there for that sweet and sour thing going on. And like I said, if you have it, basically this is one of those salads you can kind of throw anything into. Carrots, if you want to put some red onion in there, if you want to put some celery in there, knock yourself out. With that being said, I'm the old coot. I'll put links down below in the description, also in the comment section. But that's basically the recipe as well, is 4 hard-boiled eggs, 1 cup of rice. Doesn't have to be basmati rice, right? Like you definitely just make sure that your rice is cooked. But you could really use any type of rice that you have left over. If you want to do a more Asian flavor or theme with this, you could put some ginger in there and use fried rice, right? You could do that if you want to. Kind of like sky's the limit on this. And then what did I have in there? I had about like a half a cup of the sprouted lentils in there. You can take stuff out. You can put stuff in. Like if you don't have the sprouted lentils, it's totally fine. Like leftover sprouted lentils, that's totally cool. But whatever you have, pretty much I just throw it in. And then I'll hit it with some salt and pepper at the very end. Just taste it first. See where you're at. If you want to throw some like jalapeno in there, you could do that. You could kind of put in whatever you want. If you have like leftover kidney beans or white beans or black beans or pinto beans, whatever the case may be, and they're cooked and they're fully, this is like a cooked salad, everything was all cooked individually and then just kind of brought together. And then in some cases, like the lentils obviously were raw and the capers, whatever. But with that being said, I'm the old coot, just showing you all what it's like when you're really struggling and you're trying to eat, you're still trying to eat good without having to pay a fortune for food. You know, each one of these components was pretty inexpensive to begin with, and I just kind of threw it all in together. That's something that, like I said, you slap this between two slices of sourdough toast at a restaurant or a deli, it's probably a $25 sandwich. So you can just do it at home yourself. But anyways, with that being said, I'm the old coot, and I'll catch you all in the next exciting video.